some of my followers here are from LinkedIn actually, and on LinkedIn I'm pretty active. I post a lot of content about Google Ads specifically, and my first 20 videos on here on YouTube were about building an audience and basically me sharing my journey on the whole agency. But I decided that now, after 20 videos, I got some practice in on talking to the camera and improving my English a little bit. So it's time to start sharing content about the Google Ads. And for today's video, I prepared a training. And I actually recorded the training a little while back, like I would say 2 months ago, but it's still very, very applicable. And in the Google Ads training, which is basically a scaling framework or a scaling codex, however you want to call it, and it's basically an explanation video where I tell you the best strategy that you can use for your e-commerce brand to get in your first couple sales in Google Ads, then scale it up to 10 sales or even 100 sales a day. And the training is pretty valuable. I threw it in our team channel yesterday again, and that's when it hit me that I would want to share this with the YouTube audience and the internet as well. So sit back and relax, take a notepad, take some notes, and maybe the training will spark some good ideas for your Google Ads strategy. If you have any questions about your specific case, you can always drop them in the comments or connect with me on LinkedIn. And for now, I would wish you a very good day, and I'll see you in the training.
Hey guys, welcome to the Google Ads Scaling Codex. How to get your first sale and how to scale it up to 101 sales or more using only Google Ads. My name is Floris van Vleuten, and today I'm going to show you how to set up your Google Ads strategies in order to get your first sale, scale it up to 10, 100, or even more than 100 a day. So this will be more of a strategical side, a strategical video on how you should probably set up your ads. And of course, there's no one-size-fits-all strategy. So I'm going to walk you through every step and explain as much as I can in order to get your first couple sales and scale it up to 100 a day. And I'm going to try to explain the why behind all the strategies. And hopefully you'll be a lot smarter and understand how you could leverage your Google Ads for your e-commerce business better after this video. Cool. Okay, so let's get into it. We're first going to talk about how to get your first order in a day. So I'm going to minimize myself a bit. And you have to understand that you have to check first, of course, if there's a product market fit. So you should have done your analysis, you've set up your store, and you're basically ready to attract some traffic. So campaign types in this small, beginner phase are going to be search and shopping, because we want to have our keyword targeting, and we want to have highly targeted buy-ready traffic to our website. So as I said, you have to make sure there's a product market fit first. If there is, people are probably searching for the solution or even the specific product that you provide. To do a extensive keyword research is key in this step. Actually, you should probably do keyword research every so now and then to improve your ads, improve your targeting, but using Google Ads Keyword Planner in this phase is crucial. So use Google Ads Keyword Planner, use the specific options they have on there. So crawl your page and even put in the keywords that you think that are going to work. Check the volumes and include those keywords in your targeting strategy. You would want to set up a highly targeted shopping campaign right now. And to have a shopping campaign, you of course have to set up your Google Merchant Center. You have to have a Google Ads account, of course. And you want to include the keyword that you want to target inside your titles and your descriptions. If you set up a standard shopping campaign, you have the most control over the campaign. So I would suggest you using a standard shopping campaign in this phase. And you can also look at the search terms report over time, exclude all irrelevant terms, and see how your ads perform basically. So besides the whole shopping campaign, I suggest you using a highly targeted search campaign, because it's also on keyword targeting, and you can basically include only the highly buy ready, super specific keywords that you are finding in your keyword research. You have to aim for a 5 to 10% CTR. 10% is really high, I know, and you have to write really good copy in order to get those. But I think that if your keyword targeting is on point and you have a very good ad copy or copywriting, some copywriting skills, you could use ChatGPT or Google Bard to help you with it. You could easily reach the 5% and maybe ramp it up to 10%. Stand out from the crowd with your extensions is a really important part for your searches as well. So when you just created an account, I don't think you can include images, but try to use everything that is applicable for you. So promotion extensions, price extensions, try image extensions if you're ready already, and include your business name, include site links to specific product pages or specific solution pages, basically. So this is the whole traffic part. Then we have the product and the checkout part as well, which are also really important in this phase and in the other phases as well. So in terms of product, we have highly targeted traffic, right? And you want to have highly interested people on your website, but it's time to convert those people. So you have to basically sell the people on the product page. Make sure pricing is right and you let the visitors perceive more value than the cost of the product. So let's say, for example, you have a product of 50 euros. You have to highlight the benefits and show basically the people why it is worth for them to do the purchase. Highlight benefits, create social proof to let them see that your brand is trustworthy. Make sure your page load is fast. Optimize for mobile, because 80% of all people are searching on mobile. Include lifestyle images to see like in-use scenarios of your product. Include other USPs like fast shipping or good customer service, or maybe you have a good how do you say it? Returning rate, returning policy. Include everything, and you have to highlight all the benefits that people get when purchasing from you. Make sure it's a visually attractive form, from a design perspective. So I know we aren't all the best designers in the world, but just make sure it's simple, it's easy, you highlight the benefits, and it's visually attractive. You'll probably make it work from there. And of course, you want to see which product converts and which ad converts as well. So you have to set up the basic conversion tracking either with a Google tag or Google Tag Manager. And those are the best strategies to get in your first sale. In terms of the checkout, if people are ready to buy, make sure that they can reach the checkout and fulfill the checkout process as easy as possible. So make a good button that they can click. Make sure you have a add to cart pop-up or a slide that's in your face, so you have to either buy or don't, but not on the side or on the top of the page. Just make sure it's visually there and it stands out. Don't make your checkout too complicated. Of course, you want to ramp up your average order value and stuff, but you have to get in your first sale, so make it as easy as possible. That's basically it for getting your first order. And as I said, you have the search campaigns and the shopping campaigns, which are highly targeted. Just set up sufficient budgets in order to get enough traffic, and then depending on what the results look like, you can optimize from there. So that's basically the first setup. You have to have some basic Google Ads knowledge, basic conversion rate optimization knowledge, like I said, with the social proof and stuff. And you have to set up basic conversion tracking to see which products work. Then we go to step 2, which is 10 orders a day. I don't know, of course, how long it takes for you to get to your first order. And I think that strategy that I just mentioned is the best to get your first order and maybe to 1 order a day. But now you want to scale up, right? So if we look at the campaign types right here, we see search and shopping. Those are the only 2. When we go to 10 orders a day, it's 300 orders a month on average. If you reach the 10 orders a day, we're already including way more. So we are including YouTube, display campaigns, and performance max in this stage. So make sure you know how every campaign time works, how you set it up, how you can optimize it, and you have to have more of a advanced Google Ads knowledge in order to get these results. Cool. So you've reached 1 sale a day. Your ad account is filling with conversion data, and now it's time to build out your traffic strategy with Google's AI, feed-only Performance Max campaigns. So feed-only Performance Max campaigns, look, a Performance Max campaign is pretty much fully automated, I would say. You can optimize, of course, but it's a fully automated campaign type, and it also begins with smart bidding from the bat. So you don't want to give it too much budget or too much placements, basically, because Performance Max goes in every placement of the Google Ads. You want to make it a feed-only campaign. So how you do this is you only attach the feed to the Performance Max campaign, and you don't include any other attributes, no titles, no descriptions, nothing else. And then it's basically a shopping campaign which leverages the AI of Google fully. Explore remarketing campaigns through YouTube Shorts, and display ads to persuade your previous buyers and add to carts. So if you have like repeat purchases, right? You can just set up those campaigns to the people who already purchased in order for them to get to purchase again. And that will fill your account even more with more conversion data. If you have people who added a product to their cart but didn't check out, it's right to only remind them that the product is still there. So you can persuade them with the display ads and YouTube ads, basically showcase more benefits to your product, and that way you can get in those conversions eventually. You can build out your search campaigns with broad match. So I didn't mention in the first type, but I said highly targeted keywords. What I mean with highly targeted is only buy ready search terms, and use exact match only, because you don't want to see how Google's AI can deliver way beyond your search ads, right? So just use exact match for getting your first order, and when you're going to 10 orders a day, you can experiment with broad match. If you have enough conversion data, broad match could really be helpful for you and basically start the flywheel of the whole automation. And I mean the automation of Google Ads account. Besides all of that, you can set up a DSA campaign, which is a dynamic search ads campaign, to get new insights on keywords and to get new customers to your website. Mind that Google already has inside Google Keyword Planner a page crawling function. You should first look if your product page, when being crawled by Google, delivers relevant keywords. If it does, set up the DSA. If it doesn't, get your product page optimized by a SEO specialist or look into it yourself. In terms of product, we have a couple things here. So we know it's working, and we can try increasing our average order value with upsells and cross-sells. So let's say, for example, somebody added is on your product page, right? You could include bundles to increase the order value, give them a little bit of a discount when you buy more products, and basically increase the order value of your initial customer. And you can then, if that works, use more budget to get in the first customer touch point, right? When getting in new orders, you can focus on reviews, getting reviews and testimonials, and building out the social proof, because you're probably still a small brand, right? People don't trust you yet. So you have to showcase what your clients and what your customers say about you, and that will ensure that people trust you. And then your conversion rate will go up as well. This is also the time to set up advanced conversion tracking. So I would suggest this is probably the point with 300 orders a month, right? To set up conversion tracking with server-side tagging. So it's kind of an advanced tracking strategy. I know there are some plugins and some apps to help you with this. One really good software that's helping you with it is Profit Metrics. So you don't have to do anything yourself. They will basically set up the server and make sure you get in 100% of the conversion data, or close to 100%. but because when you do like the basic conversion tracking, you will miss out on a lot of conversion data, and the conversion data is actually what keeps your ad account going, right? So you want to set up the server-side tagging, look it up. Profit metrics is really useful and really easy to use as well. And yeah, that's my suggestion in this stage. If you upload customer lists, maybe you have other acquisition channels as well. If you upload customer lists, that will help you scale quicker, because the Google Ads account knows who your customers are, either for repeat buyers or new targeting possibilities. Google will look into those customer lists to basically match them with either new customers or existing customer profiles. So uploading customer lists will help you scale quicker. In terms of the checkout, you have to try to minimize drop-off by improving the checkout process. So you got your first orders, right? You want to see, okay, how does this work? How does somebody go through the checkout process? Do they have a drop-off? What happens between like the product page view, the add to cart, start like initiate checkout, and the real checkout itself? And try to minimize drop-off. So make it as easy as possible. You could, at this stage, include AOV boosting and gamification. So, like I said, you can include like the bundles, but also what, for example, Gymshark does really well at this. If you add something to your cart, it gives a slide. I will increase myself a little bit. It will give you a pop-up slide, like a cart slide, and it says, okay, here's your product. If you spend X amount more, you will get free shipping. Or if you spend X amount more, you will get a free gift from us. And that will help actually with your AOV increasing and your conversion rate increasing as well. Cool, awesome. So that's 10 orders a day already. You're probably a good business, right? Then to go to 100 orders a day, we have to fully leverage the power of Performance Max. And I personally am not per se a big fan of full build Performance Max campaigns, but I am a big fan of feed only Performance Max campaigns. So like I said, the feed only campaign works really well. You probably have more than one product, right? And if you have more than one product, like product A, for example, will be your winner product, getting in a lot of conversions for a very low cost. And you can have product B, C, and D, which are basically costing you money for every purchase you make. So you want to segment the performance of the products into performance-based bucketing. And you can include like, you can use the Flowbalizer script for this. You can also, if you use the Product Hero CSS, you can use Product Hero for this as well. But I would say scale your winners and eliminate your losers. This is the right time to do that. Leverage the automating bidding strategies in most of your campaigns, because Google will probably be smarter than you, right? Like the first stage, we have the standard shopping, you're optimizing the keywords and stuff. But at this point, the account has so much data. And of course, you should monetize, like, how do you say it? You should look if the account performance goes well and if they target the right keywords and the right audiences, of course. But try to leverage the automated bidding strategies, because Google has the data, more data than we do probably. And yeah, you could experiment with leveraging those bidding strategies, and it will probably be a positive outcome for you. As you can see, in terms of campaign types, I've included demand generation right here. You could experiment it on the early stage as well, but you have to give it sufficient budget. So that's the reason why I've plotted it here. You can build out your campaign setup with demand generation campaigns. And those are basically, I would say, Facebook/Instagram ad campaigns, but then on the Google platform, because Google has not only the Google search engine, of course, but they have YouTube, they have the whole display network, they have Discovery and Gmail. And using a good demand generation campaign with like killer creatives could help you get in more demand, basically. And so from the bat, the demand generation campaigns will probably get in some conversions, and it will also help with your brand awareness, which will result in better performance throughout the other campaigns as well. In terms of your product, you can try launching limited time offers and create urgency to boost sales. This is something that you have to experiment with, because For some businesses, this works really well. For others, it doesn't. So you could just experiment with it, but I wanted to give you that idea. After collecting enough reviews and testimonials, see if you can improve your product. So you have the feedback, right? Maybe, for example, let's say you have a very good product, but the lifetime of the product isn't that well. Or you have a very good product, but shipping takes quite long. Or you have a very bad product actually, and people are telling you like about the product, but it doesn't work or it doesn't work properly. And that depends, of course, on your case. But I think reviews and testimonials are good for building social proof, but also literally for product feedback. So you could use those. In terms of the checkout, you can, at this point, 100 orders a day, right? 3,000 orders a month. You can introduce a loyalty program to to encourage repeat business, repeat orders. So what I mean with this is, you could encourage people to create an account for a discount on their orders, or you can include that loyalty program and loyalty program. And you can basically say, hey, if you spend like €1,000 or $1,000 with us, we're willing to give you a gift card of €50 or maybe even more, because that will like increase the brand loyalty that they have with your online store. This is also the point where you can optimize for international customers if applicable. So let's say you're at 100 orders a day, you can probably scale to other countries as well if you haven't already. And you have to make sure it's the right currency and the right targeted language. I think Shopify has geolocation, which works really well for this. And WooCommerce, you could just look it up. I'm not familiar with the plugin on WooCommerce, but I'm sure they have one. So include those, yeah. And then we're already at the last step of the whole process. So you went to 100 orders a day and you want to hit that 101 or even more. We're still using the same campaign types. This is the moment where you can really build out all your campaigns and experiment a lot, because you have like some kind of proof that your strategies work, right? And you can use the working strategies to get in money, and you can use like a bit of your budget, or I would say 10 to 20% to experiment with whole new ideas, with whole new ads, creatives. Maybe you're creating like a way more cold targeting campaigns, and this is basically the point where you can scale up your brand as a established global brand. So diversify your whole campaign setup. Set apart a big part of your budget for experimenting with new ads, new campaigns, and new product pages. You should just like continuously be optimizing everything, right? So not only your Google ads, but try to optimize your conversion rate optimization, your whole website, your maybe even your email marketing. I didn't want to touch upon this, but try to use and improve email marketing. Run fully broad, optimized targeting campaigns, such like display and YouTube, to basically reach a whole new cold audience, because you probably have sufficient budget to do that. And there are a couple of very good cases of marketers using display and Google for a cold audience that work really well. So make sure you like define your goals the right way. See how, for example, brand searches are increasing when you run those, and see how well they perform. With everything, it's like try to do your best, try to use this framework, but optimize on the data that you gather, right? So this is just a framework. Maybe it doesn't work for you like one-to-one, but it gives you some ideas to scale and which campaign types to use in which particular case. Increase budgets of well-performing campaigns by 10% a week, I would say, and see if you're still hitting your goals. So for example, you're running this top-performing Performance Max feed-only campaign, right, for €1,000 a day or maybe even more. Try to increase it with 10% every week again, and see if at some point the performance drops, like the ROAS drops, for example. Then you know you have to improve another step in the process. So either you have to create more awareness, like touch upon the problem even more, and basically that way you can keep scaling. But like leveraging your data is very important in this step. Explore things like value-based bidding strategies, so you can optimize for the customers with the biggest lifetime value, not the initial purpose per se, but the biggest lifetime value. That would be really valuable. Try excluding customer list from your colder campaigns, and go into retargeting mode to create your biggest fans, basically. So give them sick discounts, let them know that you know that they are there. That's basically the thing that I'm trying to say. And also, very important part, keep up with new features and test all of them. So Google is rolling out new features like every couple of months, right? This is a time that you can experiment with those to be like a pioneer at this stage, and basically, set yourself apart from your competitors, right? In terms of product, you know your products work. You knew that a couple steps ago already. You're building out, and I think this is also the time to keep improving and receiving the best reviews for products and customer experience. So improve product, showcase everything on your website, and you can do two things. Or you send like the products that you have to kind of famous people in your niche. So let's say you own a fishing brand. Send it to a famous fisher. I don't know, but send it to the fisherman or a fisherwoman, and make sure they actually love the product, and then create a testimonial or review around it. And maybe you can even include those in your images on the product page. So this way you create next level social proof. You could even really use those reviews and testimonials for your cold targeting, and just send them to the whole niche. And this is how you become like a well-established global brand in your niche. In terms of the checkout, you've probably optimized a lot of steps during the checkout, right? But it's good to continuously A/B test all aspects of the checkout process for ongoing optimization. So maybe you should hire a external or internal CRO specialist to do like ongoing experimenting. See if the colors of the buttons matter, and like the layout of some small design parts on your website makes sense if they try to test it like with some other cases. The thing is, people are hiring CRO experts, and that's really good. But like I think for ongoing CRO optimization, that would be really valuable. But I think only in this stage, maybe in the previous stage as well. But don't go into this too early, because you want to optimize your product page, but you want to make sure there's a product market fit first. And I think you can use your budgets more wisely on other parts of the business. So I think this is probably the best framework, strategy, step-by-step process to scale your Google Ads campaigns. These steps are tailored to Google Ads only, but don't limit yourself to only Google Ads. So if you're a Google Ads specialist, these are the steps you have to take. But if you're really either a growth marketer or you are an e-commerce brand owner, build everything out on every platform. And of course, you have to try one platform by building the proof of concept and basically getting your flywheel to profit, if I can name it that way. But I think it's the case to be using omni-channel marketing or multi-channel marketing, either one of those, and basically be present on all platforms. So of course you have Google, which catches all the intent, and you have YouTube and the display and the demand generation campaigns, of course, which create demand. But people are spending time on LinkedIn, and they're spending time on Instagram and Facebook, on Pinterest, maybe even on TikTok. So try to expand everything to every platform once you are ready for it. I think Google Ads is a very good starting point, and you should probably start with Google Ads, in my opinion. But don't limit yourself to only one platform. That would be my final note.
Amazing. That was it already. So thank you so much for watching. If you like these kinds of videos, you can click the video right here, which is handpicked for you by YouTube itself. And then I will see you in the other video. It's basically that. See you later. Bye.